Hello, dear friends. Here we are, one more day, 21 days of empowerment, redefining money, based on the book Money by Emmanuel through the medium Chico Xavier. What a single opportunity. This book was published in the 80s of the last century, believe it or not, the 20th century, and it brings to us renewed reasons to rethink what we're doing on the earth. It's a unique experience. So before I read this chapter, Studying Wealth, we're going to say hi to our community and remind everybody, if you want to buy the book, and I think you should, and give it away, as Rudy said yesterday, you go to the bookstore of the United States Spiritist Federation. The United States Spiritist Federation has a bookstore, several books, including this one, Money. Valentine's Day is coming, and Rudy said, what an idea. And this book is not like a book only for those who believe in Spiritism. It's universal. The ideas are universal. It brings to us a liberating view on money and wealth and poverty and equality, inequality, and everything. All the things that we're discussing nowadays and are really the hot topics and have been and increasingly have become are discussed here. Yeah, as Emmanuel said, the title may be shocking to a few, but responding to requests, he compiled this book for us so we could empower ourselves. Redefining money is liberating and empowering. So let us say hi to our beautiful intercontinental community. Hello, Leonor, how are you? And Jussara. Hello, Jussara. How are you? Solange, how are you, Solange? Love the hearts. Thank you, Leonor. Hello, Katia. How are you? Melissa. How are you, Melissa? Hello, Sunshine. How are you? Tuani and Luciana. How are you, friends? Andrea, how are you, Andrea? Ah, yes. And Adilson, how are you? Lea Severo, how are you? Yes, feeling grateful. My friend Sabine Beck. Yes, I do too, right? Patricia, hello, my friend. How are you? Thank you, Katia, for the loving hearts, and Leia Severo as well. This is another day in our journey, and today we're dedicating to reading the chapter, Studying Wealth. Emmanuel is a wonderful educator. He, in 1986, published this book, and he says, to teach us, amongst all things, that money is also from God, right? And he redefines money for us. He studied the several aspects related to it. And today, he's going to teach us about wealth. We think it's all the same, right? But let's wait and see. A teacher never repeats a lesson out of the blue. There's always some new component in the repetition because we repeat to give one more step ahead. And this is always the pattern of the good educators. Emmanuel is a wonderful educator. He repeats the lesson, but always adds something new. And in the repetition, the new becomes easily absorbed. Okay? Hello, Monica. How are you? And Danielle Castellani too, right? Ready, friends? We're going to read There's a tone of inner preparation for us when we read this book. Yeah. Because we're talking about material things that can literally enslave us. Read the book Action and Reaction, and you're going to see how enslaving it can be when we, depending on the definition of money, the concept we have of wealth, etc. So it's important that we feel the protection of our spirit guides, the spirit protectors or the protecting spirits, the guardian angels, whatever name we want to give to them, so they can help us absorb the feelings related to the lessons. These are therapeutic conversations. Hello, Ceisa. Hello, Rita Di Cassia. Perfect timing. Let us begin. Studying Wealth, Chapter 3. Not only is the reach of the parable a major debtor to life, but coined wealth is sometimes simple imprisonment. There are other greedy people we should also remember in our journey to the greater light. There are the miser of intelligence who lurks in the trenches of flowering inertia, the wealthy of the health who forsake the afflicted and the sick, the privileged of joy who are closing the doors to the sad by isolating themselves in the pleasures of their oasis, the happy of faith who seek solitude under the pretext of persevering against sin, the exponents of youth who despise old age, and the favored of their terrestrial family who forget the ones who wander in penury without a home. These are the rich individuals of the common experience who contract heavy debts to humanity. Let us remember that the real treasure of life is in our hearts. Whomever cannot give something of themselves in goodwill, with a brotherly smile, or with a sincere word of kindness and encouragement, will vainly stretch their hands to be filled with gold, because only love opens the doors of spiritual fulfillment and sows on earth the light of true charity, which extinguishes evil and dispels darkness. Poverty is mere fiction. We all have something to give. We all can help. We all can serve. And according to the word of the Master, the greatest among you will be your servant. One, two, we count the paragraphs for us, okay? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In 8 paragraphs, Emmanuel taught us lessons that probably we haven't heard before. Because here he, as an educator, is teaching us something new. He continued the line of thinking saying, money is from God, so we need, that's the introduction to chapter 1. Chapter 2 is about how we're using it. Chapter 3, he's talking about broader concept of wealth. And this is not mere philosophy, it's life. It's just striking the way he says it. Let me say hi to our friend Rihanna, who got in later. Thank you, Rihanna, for being here with us. So here Emmanuel has a proposal for us. Let us study wealth. What is wealth? But before I ask about wealth, what about you? What about me? Do you consider yourself wealthy or not? Better saying, how wealthy do you think you are? Yeah, scale 0 to 10. It's important that we do this inner evaluation. Do you think you're wealthy? Because sincerely, even financially, you ask people who are rich or wealthy, and they say, no, I'm not. I need more, I need more, I need more. And that's why the more you have, the more you feel like having. And the more you feel like you have nothing, not only knowledge, but also money. That's exactly what happens to people on the earth. But how about you? Let's think for ourselves here. It's a therapeutic conversation. We're walking the advice of Jesus to Nicodemus from the book Good News. It's not enough to know the scriptures. We need to feel them. So let us feel it. Where are we regarding feeling that we're wealthy? Are you wealthy? 0 to 10, how wealthy do you think you are? 0 is impossible because we always have something to give. But 10, being like super wealthy. How do you feel when you think of yourself as a wealthy person? Are you conflicted? Do you feel conflicted? To the point that, oh my God, I don't want to be wealthy. I feel it's a sin. Do you feel it's sinful to be wealthy? Because we carry these conflicts from many lives. Lives in which we created conditionings, programmings, and they are still running in our computer, the mind. And I'm saying this because how often you go to your computer and you ask somebody who is like an IT person and say, you know, my computer's not working well. Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna fix it up. You have lots of programs running on the background that actually you don't need. So I uninstalled all of them. You know, in a computer you can erase files, you can uninstall programs, you can even reset a computer. Do you think you cannot do the same with your mind? Do you think the computer of our minds, which is not even the brain, because the brain is the seat of the mind, is not able of doing so? How would we ever renew ourselves if we were not able or given by God the ability to go there and reset, go there and undo, go there and install and recycle? Do you have a recycle bin inside of you? How often do you recycle your concepts? How important is it for us to learn to recycle from within? From within. One of the concepts we are asking ourselves to revisit, Mentor Joseph is saying, revisit your concept of wealth. Do you feel wealthy? Do you think you're wealthy? How wealthy? Because Emmanuel is telling us, and he's very practical, right? He begins studying wealth by saying, look, wealth, financial, material wealth, can be sometimes an imprisonment. And you know why? Because the more you have, the more you have to have. Because peer pressure. It's like, for example, you don't need much. You put your child in a school and they are doing some fundraising. Okay, you collaborate. And then when you go to this fundraiser, you know people who know people who know people who know people. And they have their business as well, etc. And then sometimes just to be in the network, you surrender to buying things. So it's prison. Yeah. Because if you don't have it, people are not going to expect that you acquire more. You're expected to acquire more when you have something. So having something could be an imprisonment. Is there a way out? Is it cursed? Is wealth cursed? No, not at all. Also because Emmanuel is saying the true wealth is not the external one. That's something that is controlled by the inner wealth. Okay? So let us consider here. We have the inner wealth and the outer wealth. So that coined wealth that Emmanuel is saying, the one that is referred by Jesus in the parable, right? The rich, the person in the parable, the rich of the parable. Those references tell us about the external, the material wealth. But that depends on the inner wealth. If I am wealthy inside, I can manage that wealth outside without losing myself, without imprisoning myself. It's only the poverty within that creates this imprisonment by the outer or the financial or material or coined wealth. Thank you, Leonor, for your help. There are other greedy people. Now we're gonna go deeper. Emmanuel is a genius, sharing with us the concepts that Jesus could not tell us. Right? Could not tell us. He could not tell us in these details because we didn't even have vocabulary. It's not because he underestimated us. On the contrary, he trusted our potential and value so much that he came at a time when people couldn't understand him completely. As a spring of water, it comes out and fulfills its mission. Yeah, the spring of the future ocean. And Emmanuel here says, the greedy. Do you think you're greedy now? And we don't want to offend anybody, but it's a therapeutic conversation. Do you feel you are a greedy person? Or not? Do you feel you are somebody who is really coming close to being greedy? What is to be greedy? So let us see. He gives us many examples. The miser of intelligence who lurks in the trenches of flowering inertia. And let me share something with you. Thanks to the current times, thanks to the very challenging current times we're living in the United States, the scientific community is coming out of its greediness. Knowing somewhat deeply the scientific community, and a lot of kudos for the scientific community, but it's almost like we produce all these flowers that cannot be given away or take a long time. Finally, thanks to the very dramatic scenario we're living on the earth, the scientific community is moving itself. It's practicing compassion. Yes, by inviting the ones that were banned by the current government in the United States, It's practicing compassion, inviting the scientists who are banned to go to their countries. In the United States, we have scientists who are going to go to a march on the day that we celebrate the appreciation for our planet Earth. Finally, scientists are going to be seen in the streets. Some people think scientists are crazy because we never see them. And I've been a scientist for more than 2 decades. Yeah, I got my PhD in 1997. And it's been a while. And I tell you, fantastic people, but you never see the faces. It's that greediness. I keep the knowledge to myself. Thanks to a dramatic scenario, everybody's forced to go to the streets, to create bridges of collaboration, to create bridges of friendship, more and more bridges. Wonderful. There are even scientists who are thinking about becoming politicians. Wonderful, because if you have knowledge, you better go roll your sleeves and work with the public. For all of us. In the book Liberation, we get to know through Andre Lewis of a very important passage that shows exactly a case of miser of the intellect. This guy is in the spiritual realm, he's discarnated, and he is surrounded by a crowd, and he sees like spirits who are selecting those, and these are not very evolved spirits, but as Andre Lewis teaches us, God allows them to fulfill this role of judges and selectors of the discarnate spirits, also to fulfill a task in the universe. And then they are using an apparatus scanning the vibratory field of each and every discarnate spirit who's there, and they are classifying the perverted ones, the misers or the greedy ones, etc. And then amongst the greedy ones, there is a man who says, excuse me, but I am not a miser. I've never been. I'm not a greedy person. When I was on the earth, I didn't even have money. I was an intellectual. And it's so funny because sincerely, scientists and intellectuals on this earth, they don't have money at all. The salaries are really a joke. So, they're like, and I would say you're right, the scientists and intellectuals don't have that much money. And then you go there and this selector or the judge says to him, were you not? What did you do with your knowledge? You were like a bookworm, right? Oh, yes, I was a bookworm. Yeah, but what did you do with it? Did you share it? Well, but people wouldn't understand. Did you do anything with it? No. So, you are a greedy person. It's about vibration. It's not about what you do. So, Emmanuel is saying, the one that keeps the treasure of his intelligence to himself and does not multiply it, do anything, they have a vibratory tone of a greedy person. Okay? The audio is low. Let me know. Thank you, Rita, for letting me know. Okay? Let me know if there's anything we can do to improve. So here we have all of us. What do you do with the knowledge you have? You're going to wait for a particular time when in an ideal time you're going to put together a school, you're going to start a project, etc. I tell you, don't wait, my friend, because you don't know if tomorrow is going to happen. You don't know. I don't know either. I remember a man telling me, Vanessa, when I retire, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. The day he retired, a month later, he was diagnosed with cancer. A year later, he discarnated. Why are you going to wait for any condition to do what you have to do? Do what you have to do. You have knowledge, you have intelligence, use it without abusing it, right? We have also here another type of greediness, the wealth of the health. That's new to us. People who are wealthy in regards to their health, and they forsake the afflicted and the sick. I remember somebody telling me we were planning a visit to children who were sick. And this person had a daughter and told me, oh, I don't want to go. And I don't want to bring my daughter there either, because I think she's going to be very impressionable. Okay. You want to wait for your child to be sick and then she's going to learn that it's people are people, sick or not? We need to be used and open our hearts to those who are sick. Believe it or not, this person, 14 years later, experienced the disease of this daughter and had to learn that way. That people, when they are sick, they are not inferior. They are not somebody who has a leper that cannot be in touch. That we actually need to be with everyone and use our health to help those who temporarily don't have the wealth of their health. Okay, that's the ancient Roman feeling, right? Not only Roman, but in ancient times when Jesus came along, people used to feel that way. Oh, I want to be far away from those who are sick. We're wealthy of health, and we don't want to spend this health by helping those who are not experiencing the wealth of the health. Right? Hello, Erica and Elder and Vanessa. Oh, it's good to have you here. We just saw you, right? By the way, I want to put a pause here and say, if you're in Orlando, there are two beautiful centers here that I've come to know. Peace and Knowledge and Love and Charity. And it's fantastic. So if you're coming to Disney, go stop by, look at the websites and see the time, because phenomenal work, beautifully organized. And today I had the opportunity of being with Livia Trevisani in the Peace and Knowledge and her team. Vanessa was there, and I was deeply moved by the organization, by the love. You know, a spiritist center out of Brazil is really like triple, it's like triple chocolate, you know, it's like too much, too good to be true, and that's what it is, triple chocolate. So if you come to Orlando, go visit the spiritist centers, and it's a wealth, the wealth of the spirit right there, okay? Now, thank you, friend. Thank you. Now, the privileged of joy are also wealthy. But they close their doors to the people who are sad, to isolate them in their own oasis. How many people are this? You have friends, and you laugh, and you go places, but the day that friend is depressed or has problems, you're like, oh, get me out of here, go cry somewhere else. And then it's like leper for us, right? Oh, please don't come. And I remember I said this in the previous series, Thought in Life, but I will repeat because it was a lesson for me. we love reaching out to others, but sometimes we don't read the scenarios well. I was in Virginia's school, talking to the head of the school, dropping her Virginia off for her morning in the school, loving school. And suddenly, one of the classmates started throwing up. She wasn't feeling well. And she threw up like near us because she was talking to the head of the school, who is a fantastic person. And I called the mother, who was just in the parking lot, so she could help the child out, etc. But then I got home and I was talking to Mentor Joseph. And then I said, Mentor Joseph, I was talking with the head of the school, one of the teachers, such an important topic. Do you think what happened was about the spirits? You know, our ignorance, trying to not allow us to actually reach a final conclusion. And then he smiled very kindly to me, because teachers, educators, they smile to the ignorance of the students. They don't laugh, but they smile in the sense of like, beautiful soul. You're learning, and that's okay. And then I said, so what is it? He said, Vanessa, think the other way around. You are healthy. The head of the school was healthy. Virginia was healthy. You're near the girl. They had an excursion that day. The guardian angel of the girl and the protecting spirits of the school, they use your energies to help. So she would go home with the mother, and the other ones she could receive the proper medication right away through the help of the mom, and the rest of the group could go to their excursion, which was miles away, without any trouble. You're an instrument. Think from that perspective. You are at service all the time. It's the wealth of health at that moment. And we see those things happening to people when they lack health, and we feel like something is wrong. It's almost like a curse. No wonder Emmanuel published a book 2,000 years ago. Through the disease of Flavia, the daughter of the Roman senator, he is teaching us, if we're still like Fulvia, the aunt of Flavia, who is disgusted by her disease, versus even Pontius Pilate, who knows how to look at the child, not feel disgusted. So think about you. Are you wealthy of health? Are you embracing? Am I embracing those who are sad and who have problems? Right? Let me say hi to Joyce. Hello, Joyce. João Bosco. Andrea. Kids need to learn to visit one another. She's saying that her daughter goes with her school every Sunday to help and cook for the homeless. That's fantastic. Yeah. Right, Rihanna? This is important for us because we want to help the world, but this is how we can help. And he says here more. Those who are wealthy of faith but seek solitude, they spend 21 days in a silent retreat. Okay, I understand. Sometimes it's needed. But all the time, you're going to be in a silent retreat where people are suffering. Yeah. How can we do this? how can we indulge, even in our solitude, knowing that there are many people who are in need? So he says, under the pretext of persevering against sin, saying, oh, the world is so complicated. Let's do a retreat. No, let's go to the streets and help people. Instead of gathering together to cherish this knowledge, we're going to pray together, remind ourselves of the lessons, but then team up and go. Go. Open your doors for the fraternal counseling. Open your doors for the passes. Open your doors for studying these books. Open your doors to listen to people, to smile, to sing to them, and remind them that if it's raining, it's okay, and we're gonna sing in the rain. That it's okay. Teaching them to think positively. People need coaches of the thought. That's what Mentor Joseph has been telling me. Vanessa, we need to train people, to coach people to think positively. And it's not trivial. You need people to coach you to say, I love and approve of myself in ways that are pleasing to me. Yeah. We need to tell one another about it. That everything is going to be okay, that life is fine, and that we should trust God. Love God above all things. Above all things. And finally, Emmanuel says here, what about those who are young and despise old age? Are you one of them? And I met yesterday a beautiful 83-year-old lady who founded the first Spiritist Center in Orlando 20-some years ago, Elisette. Driving her car, cooking, there. Unbelievable. And we told her, thank you for being here because of your presence. In your experienced age, we feel stronger. We need to teach our youth to appreciate the elderly, to listen to the elderly. How about that, in the Spiritist centers? A session where we put the older with the younger ones. And the younger are going to listen to the old because they have stories to tell. And the older are going to practice a lot of, openness to the new. With the new vocabulary of the teenagers. So it's a multi-age event with different boosts for different virtues. Finally, the favored of their terrestrial family who forget the ones who wander in penury without a home. Facebook friends. If you have a beautiful family, wonderful. But don't forget, there are many people who don't. And they have Facebook. I know even homeless who have cell phones. I don't want to know why they have cell phones. I trust. We trust that they need what they need. But your husband gave you flowers, keep it to yourself. Because that's not charity. We need to say this. There are people who, they're traveling, keep it to you. That wealth, when we share like that, sounds not only selfish and egotistic, but cruel. Because people look and they're like, really? And the world is suffering. And many of people in this world, of the almost 2 billion people who have Facebook, do you think they are the happy ones? No. The happy with the unhappy. And we fluctuate, so it's everybody combined. And that's what Mentor Joseph tell me. Keep it to yourself, Vanessa. Whatever you do that is more entertaining, not because I'm hiding, because It's one, even if it's a 10-minute break eating ice cream, it's between God and me. Between God and me. Yeah. And the body, of course, right? If I eat the ice cream. But not sharing that much. Ah, delicious ice cream. What about the people on a diet? We need to be more considerate with them, right? And I have friends who are disturbed when there are so many recipes of delicious things. Yeah, it's a practice of self-control. We watch it, and that's what I've been learning with Joseph to tell Virginia. We go to the stores, and I say, Virginia, we're just looking. We're not buying. Just like the recipes, we're just looking. One day we may cook it, but not today, because today is not the day. And then we keep ourselves to the diet. Right? Right? The diet, so we can live as long as possible in this special reincarnation. Vanessa, you're talking about a caravan of love every weekend visiting. I know. Yeah, our friend Fred Gouveia is doing, he learned it here, right, to do it. And this is a fantastic project, my friend. Thank you for sharing. What a beautiful project, right? So we need to practice this wealth of intelligence, of health, of joy, wealth of faith, wealth of youth, and wealth of family, and help those who are not wealthy in that regard. How are you feeling now? Super wealthy? Because Zermania is giving us a list of the components. You're feeling wealthy? Yeah? At all dimensions? Great. You can help a lot. And multiply your talent, this wealth. These are the rich individuals of the common experience who contract heavy debts to humanity. Ah, Emmanuel. Now we need to protect ourselves from guilt. Don't feel guilty. Yeah, because guilt, according to the book Torments of Obsession, it exhales this muddy texture of energy all around our perispiritual body and paralyzes us. No guilt, but if we have wealth of intelligence, of joy, of family, of faith, of youth, and we don't reach out to those who don't have it, we're contracting debts. You're happy? Do a party for those who are not happy. You have a friend who said, learn not to be contaminated emotionally. How? Emmanuel taught Chico. You need to evaluate, I'm here. Am I here to learn or to teach? To serve as an instrument of teaching. And that shields us. It's like you working with children. There are some adults, when they work with children, they behave worse than children. And that doesn't go right. So we need to think, I'm the adult, they're the children. I can be youthful, but still the adult. Because I've behaved less than a child, it's not going to grow right. So I need to evaluate. I can always learn, but I can also be an opportunity to reach. For those, Emmanuel said, who need to learn, will be used as an instrument of teaching. For those who need to teach us, will be open to learn. Right? Yep. So let us remember the real treasure of life, which is in our hearts. Question, are you feeling wealthy now? How wealthy? What is your main wealth? Intelligence, health, joy, faith, youth, family, and other things. If we cannot give something in goodwill, so now Emmanuel is teaching us that it's not enough to have anything. We need to know how to give with goodness in the heart, goodwill. I know somebody who once saw homeless, and he talked to the homeless, and the homeless said, I would like you to buy a ham and cheese sandwich. And the man said, okay. And then he came back and gave him meatball sandwich. No, it's a true story. It's a true story. I've seen it with my own eyes. And then this person, who is a friend of mine, adorable friend of mine, I asked, why did you give him meatball sandwich? Because I think it's stronger. He needs something more substantial. Well, but he wants ham and cheese. The man opened the sandwich, saw it was not ham and cheese, and he threw it in the trash. So then my friend was very upset. And then I said, look, he is the homeless. You're going to go home. You're going to have your home, and you're upset. He is the one who needs your help. Why are you upset? He asked you for ham and cheese. You gave him meatball. He doesn't want meatball, but he needs it, but he doesn't want it. But I gave him more, but he doesn't want more. He wants what he wants. So you give what they need. Goodwill. Ah. And then the person was like, ah. So give with a brotherly smile. It's not like that, okay, take it. Go, 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 take it. No, it's like smiling, looking at the person in the eye. Are you afraid of eye contact? Because of all things we do as humans, eye contact is the most threatening. And you know why? It's not your fault. Because since we have a physiology to preserve ourselves in nature, when two animals look at themselves in the eye, they are not doing this because they are in love, simply. It's oftentimes because they need to observe one another for a purpose, and it's survival mode. We humans are learning a different way of looking at each other in the eye, seeking for the good inside the person. So if you feel afraid of looking at somebody in the eye, think of the guardian angel of that person. And look at that person in the eye, seeking for the divine of that person and trusting that the guardian angel is there to use you to help this relationship to go through in harmony. Trust. That's why Emmanuel said, we must seek the good, feel the good, visualize the good, and mold our lives to the good. This is in Thought in Life. Finally, he says, only love opens the door of spiritual fulfillment and sows through charity, extinguishing evil and dispels darkness. And now he says something that is revolutionary. Poverty is mere fiction. Meaning, if you feel you're poor, you have something to give, you can help and you can serve. And not tomorrow, now. Right now? Yes, right now. You want to know how? Yeah, we're almost poetic here. You want to know how? Think about somebody who needs a lot of love, kindness, and understanding. And send a thought of understanding saying, we understand you. Humanity understands you. If you're upset with somebody, visualize that person, especially those who are in our home, and say to them, I love and approve of you because you're a child of God. You are light, your love, your joy of living. Visualize the shower of light. Even if you are not feeling in agreement. But that's an exercise to catapult yourself, because you're not poor of your joy, of your compassion. You can be wealthy in your compassion, because as Jesus said, and Emmanuel wraps up, studying wealth by reminding us, the greatest among you will be the one who serves the most. You want to serve? You want to help? You're already doing it by taking good care of yourself, by studying, and by applying it every day. How you're feeling now? Wealthy? Yes, you are. And I am too. Who isn't? Everybody's wealthy. Let us find what is our main wealthy pattern and embrace the world. Poverty is mere fiction. We're going to stop here for now, and we're going to encounter you again, God willing, to study chapter 4. Let us observe, and he begins. Do not deter yourself on the earthly, purchasing power of gold to do the good. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, friends. And let us spread the good news, because poverty is mere fiction.